What's going on, guys? It's Clutch Plays here, and today we are going to be going over the New York Knicks top 5 options with the 8th overall pick in the draft. As we all know, the Knicks got screwed over in the draft lottery, which changes the Knicks' top draft prospects completely. Speaking of getting screwed over though, RJ got robbed of both of the all-rookie teams while being top 5 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals for all rookies. It's clear that defense or the eye test doesn't matter in these awards, but apparently RJ's 40% field goal percentage is so terrible that Terrence Davis and Eric Pascal made the first and second all-rookie team over him. However, I'm not going to be stupid. We kind of saw this coming as the media continued to disrespect the Knicks in all facets, literally no matter what the Knicks did. On a different note, the Knicks returned to workouts, and the feedback from the coaching staff has seemed well among the players, as Kenny Wooden is a huge fan of the new staff. RJ Barrett has teamed up with Johnny Bryant, who is Donovan Mitchell's mentor in Utah, and Kevin Knox has been reunited with Kenny Payne. Mitch has sadly had to sit out through these workouts, and he posted something about his daughter on Instagram, so let's all send some prayers and positive vibes his way. On a brighter note, Knicks Fan TV reported that trading Julius Randle will be one of the Knicks' highest priorities, which is going to be very hard, but if they can get off of his contract without giving up any picks or young players, then they should 100% do it. One way the Knicks may try and get off of his contract is by trading him in a deal to get Chris Paul. This trade would be absolutely terrible, and can you guys please comment down below the argument to trade for Chris Paul and how it will lead to sustainable, long-lasting success, because honestly, I'm lost, yet for some reason a good amount of people on social media seem to be huge advocates of this trade. In the 2020 NBA draft, the Knicks lottery pick was basically point guard or bust to begin the season, but now that we have the 8th pick, there are so many more options, which isn't necessarily like a good thing. We are in a position to take the best player available, and in this video we're going to talk about each of the top 5 prospects for the Knicks, their game, and most importantly, their fit with the Knicks. Before I get into the video though, some of you guys may already know, but I did start another channel solely for the purpose of the NBA draft called Clutch Hoops. On this channel, I do mock drafts, big boards, trade possibilities, and so much more. So if you guys want to learn more about the top prospects and even the later prospects in the draft, make sure you check it out. This is always going to be my #1 channel though, no matter what happens. And I wanted to keep this channel solely Knicks content, so I decided to create this new channel. Subscribe if you guys want to, and I would really appreciate it if you do. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into the Knicks top 5 prospects in the 2020 NBA draft. Number 5, Isaac Okoro. After falling to number 8, the Knicks are in a weird position where taking the best talent available is probably better than reaching for a point guard. With that said, the Knicks really need to consider the 6'6" freak out of Auburn. Isaac averaged 13 points and 4 rebounds per game at Auburn and is a huge project on the offensive side of the ball. However, his athleticism paired with his incredible defensive instincts will immediately make him a top defensive player in the NBA. Okoro attacks the rim on the offensive side of the ball with great force and has shown glimpses to be able to operate as the main ball handler in the pick and roll. As a freshman, he showed great basketball IQ and court vision, but didn't have many opportunities to really show off this at Auburn. The part of his game that's still a huge question is his ability to shoot, as he shot 67% from the free throw line and 29% from 3-point range. This will need to improve and will be a big determining factor on whether he's an all-star caliber player or a role player / bench player. This is a pretty risky pick, but the reason that he reaches this list is because I actually have some faith in the Knicks developmental coaches. The reason Isaac is only 5 on the list is because I'm not really too high on him as a prospect already. His game does not fit well with the Knicks as he can't shoot and plays a lot like RJ on the offensive side of the ball. If he falls a bit in the draft or we trade down, it wouldn't be an awful idea to take him, but selecting him at 8 may be a bit too high. Number 4. Obi Toppin. The NBA nowadays is a layups and 3-pointers league, and that is exactly what Obi's game consists of. This season at Dayton, he averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists on 63% from the field and 39% from 3-point range. Obi is 22 years old, but he can rebound, block shots, and make 3-pointers at a very effective rate. He also has been able to develop a pretty effective post game and is an absolute monster in the pick and roll game. Obi is explosive around the rim as he has a very high vertical and strong frame, which makes him an easy target for lobs and helps him crash the boards with force. Obi has all these incredible attributes that will translate to the NBA, yet the best part about his game is that he plays with so much effort on both sides of the ball. For these reasons, he probably has the highest floor in the draft and has the upside to be a John Collins type player. The Knicks are in a position to try and take the best player available, and if Obi is on the board at 8, he may be just that. He will help space the floor for RJ and fits the Knicks' gaping hole of a power forward who can space the floor. floor. Obi's stock would be so much higher if the NCAA tournament actually happened, so at pick 8, this is a huge value pick. The only downside about Obi is that he struggles defending people on the perimeter, and he's 22 years old, and he would probably be better suited for a team closer to contention, but if he falls to 8, we need to seriously consider taking him. Number 3, Kira Lewis Jr. I'm a relatively big fan of Kira in the draft, as the 6'3" Alabama point guard is a score-first player. Kira was a sophomore at Alabama, but he's only 19 years old and was playing college basketball as a 17-year-old. Kira averaged 18.5 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals in 37 minutes per game. This is great improvement from his freshman season where he averaged 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. There is no reason to think that this progression will stop at any point, and it's really a promising sign coming into the NBA. Kira shoots the 3 ball at 36% and has one of the most smooth forms in the draft, gets the ball out pretty quick, and has elite range. On top of this, Kira has elite speed, which allows him to excel in transition and get a ton of steals. His speed helps him a lot in the playmaking department, where he comes off of pick and rolls with a ton of speed, forcing defenders to make extremely quick decisions about what to do. Also, defenders respect Kira's speed, which makes getting perimeter shots off much easier. Kira has shown the ability to pass off the dribble, and with his athletic profile, he has potential to be a great playmaker. This is something he will need to improve upon a lot, but will be a huge determining factor in how impactful a player he will end up being. The downsides about his game is that he's too focused on scoring for a point guard, averages 3.5 turnovers per game, and goes for steals a bit too much. He's still a very raw prospect, and more importantly, he fits the Knicks perfectly. The Knicks need their future point guard, and taking a shot on a speedy player who can help space the floor would be great. The fit next to RJ is incredible, as RJ can make up for the lack of playmaking in Kira's game at the moment. Taking him at 8 may be a bit high, but if we trade down, I wouldn't be surprised if the Wizards take him, so maybe securing him at 8 is the right decision. Number 2, Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is a 6'7", 195-pound small forward with a 6'10" wingspan coming out of Florida State. The biggest strengths about his game are his shooting, as he shot the 3 ball at 41.5% last season, and his defense, as he has all the physical tools to defend at an elite level in the NBA. The floor for Devin is very high, as he will be a 3-and-D player immediately in the NBA, with the potential to develop a deadly isolation game. This season at Florida State, Devin only averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal and a block in 28 minutes per game. These stats are pretty underwhelming for a top 10 pick. However, FSU is a win by committee team rather than having their stars dominate, so his stats shouldn't be a huge red flag. Also, if you watch him play, the eye test does not disappoint. The reason Devin is a tantalizing prospect slated to go in the top 10 is because of his potential to create his own shot off the dribble. He improved significantly this season, as he made 39 shots off the dribble versus 1 shot off the dribble in his freshman year, and the few times where Devin was able to play in isolation, he looks so smooth. The potential for him is through the roof, and if he can continue to develop his isolation game, he will be the steal of the draft. His fit with the Knicks is perfect, as he will immediately come into the NBA as a great defender who can space the floor. Devin is a pretty big project, but I'm not against taking a project at all because of the Knicks' new developmental coaching staff. The Knicks need someone like Vassell who has potential to be an isolation scoring monster like Paul George or Chris Middleton, so selecting him would be an amazing pick. Number 1, Killian Hayes. Killian is my favorite prospect in the entire draft for the Knicks, and genuinely think he should be a top 5 pick lock. The real question about Killian is if he will slide down to us, especially with the Pistons selecting 1 pick in front of us, but many mock drafts have him falling. The 6'5" French point guard who played in Germany has one of the best offensive games in the entire draft. In Germany, Killian played in the Euro Cup, where he averaged 13 points and 6 assists in 24 minutes per game. To put this into perspective, KP, who was drafted 4th overall in 2015, averaged 11 points and 4 rebounds in the Euro Cup, and Frank Ntilikina, who was the 9th overall pick, averaged 6 points and 2 assists in the Euro Cup before being drafted. Killian has shown that he can shoot, use his size and wingspan to make any pass, and see the floor very well in the offensive side of the ball. He also excels in the pick and roll game, and is an absolute magician when facilitating with his left hand. His main weakness is the fact that he settles for pull-up shots and refuses to attack the rim when driving with his right hand. He has shown that he can finish with his right hand, and he's been able to get to the rim when attacking with his right hand, but will freeze and settle for short, really tough jump shots. He only shoots about 2.5 free throws per game, but as he gains more confidence facilitating with his right hand, this number should increase substantially. Obviously, this along with a few other minor weaknesses will take some time to fix in the NBA, which is one of the reasons he's one of the biggest projects with incredible potential in the draft. Killian is still only 18 years old, but his game is so advanced offensively at such a young age that it shows serious potential for the future. Killian will come into the starting point guard spot immediately for the Knicks, where he will thrive in the pick and roll game with a center like Mitch. Killian shoots free throws at 90% and his shooting is legit, so he will not clog the floor playing next to RJ. At 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, Killian has potential to be a good defender in the NBA, which is always a positive sign. If Killian slides to the Knicks at 8, we should all be ecstatic, but trading up with the Hawks to jump the Pistons if Killian is still on the board is not a bad idea. Tell me what you guys think about the Knicks' top 5 prospects in the draft, and if you think there are any players that I left off of the list. If you guys want to see one of these for the Knicks' 27th or 38th pick, make sure you comment down below, and I will be sure to do so. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and now I'm out, and peace!